people strengthen the relationship with themselves and others virtually, no matter where they are. Seeing what's possible for people is the highlight of my job. For example, I support people through job transitions, relationship changes, and developing new habits. Recently, I hosted a workshop and people walked away with hope, courage, feeling worthy and seen. I would love to connect with you. Feel free to reach out for a virtual complimentary 60-minute conversation to see if it's a good fit to work together one-on-one, or we can just simply discuss any upcoming events. My website is www.rundeepcoaching.com. That's www.rundeepcoaching.com. I am sending you so much support.
Paul Scarron, CEO of Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. With October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, our state-of-the-art 3D mammo machine can help detect early cancer. Find out details by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Ramey Miller from Run Deep Coaching. Take your power back. I do holistic personal and business coaching. My service is virtual, so we can visit no matter where you are. Find out more by clicking my icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. That's DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Seth Lawrence, News and Program Director for WHOW and WEZC. We take pride in being Clinton and Central Illinois' local radio stations each and every day, 7 days a week. What does local news mean? Here's a sample.
Asking Piatt County residents, would they consider establishing a 708 mental health board?
Our Strong Kids campaign, which is our annual campaign to help us fund all the scholarship money that we give out to members and participants.
Well, we're seeing a lot of relinquishments, and not only that, but basically just abandoned dogs. We've found dogs that have been that we suspect have been dumped.
You hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week on the big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM, and 106.5 FM WHOW, and on the station playing America's best music, 95.9 FM WEZC. News time is 9 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. Here's what we have coming up for you in news on this Thursday. Property crimes are on the rise in one central Illinois community. A story on that comes up in news today. Crimes are up in a neighboring DeWitt County. A story with that law enforcement agency comes up here soon in news. The DeWitt County DMV is getting upgrades from the Secretary of State's office. Details on those upgrades in news today. The McLean County Museum of History celebrates Dia de los Muertos coming up this week, and November will be a transition to a La Niña winter. We hear from the National Weather Service today in local news. We stream to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Property crimes are on the rise in Lincoln, and there's no reprieve in sight. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister told Regional Radio they are seeing businesses and homes being forcefully entered and valuables like tools and bikes being stolen.
Yeah, we've seen a drastic increase in property crimes over the past year, really, but they're not getting any better. So what we're asking is that the community invest in security measures like cameras, lighting, things like that to reduce the thieves' opportunity and help reduce the overall amount of crime that we're seeing. A lot of tools. So power tools are the number one thing right now. Also bicycles. The e-bikes are very popular in Lincoln, and we're seeing daily thefts of e-bikes. So locking those things up or investing in a chain lock, that can help you. We're seeing residential burglaries. We're seeing a lot of commercial burglaries, especially targeting construction companies and contractors because they own a lot of expensive tools and store them on their properties. Sheds, garages, things like that are also targeted commonly because of what they contain.
Lincoln police are encouraging residents to who know they've had their property rummaged through, and even if something isn't missing, still report that occurrence. Chief Meister says it can be helpful to know that information.
So one of the things that we're experiencing now is we're recovering large quantities of stolen items, things we know are stolen, but they haven't been reported. Sometimes people don't report them because they feel like nobody's ever going to get caught. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true if it goes unreported. Other times they don't report it because they don't have all the information, such as serial numbers on their tools or their bicycle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those things are really important to record as well, so that when we get the call, maybe it is just a cell phone charger or something stolen out of your car, and you don't think it's that big of a deal and don't want to take the time to make the report. Mm-hmm. But that could be critical evidence that ties a suspect to a larger crime, a different burglary where lots more was taken. And it helps us associate folks who are working together to commit those crimes. A lot of times we'll see 3 or 4 guys running in a crew that is committing burglaries together and participating together to conspire to commit more.
Officials are encouraging residents and business owners to beef up the security of their homes and businesses. Chief Meister reminds home security systems have become a widely utilized tool in solving crime.
One of the things that we're doing, obviously, is the Downtown Safety Initiative project. That's going to expand this month into another area downtown. We use residential security footage all the time. Folks will call in and say, hey, I saw something on my camera last night. It doesn't look quite right, and it may be footage of a burglary we haven't even had reported yet. Mm-hmm. We had that happen just last week. We've also used our Downtown Safety Initiative cameras to identify suspects and use that footage as evidence against them.
While Lincoln authorities are asking for residents to be mindful of their own security and locking vehicles and doors, they too are doing things to be more present. Chief Meister indicates they're shifting the focus of their night patrols.
We're also investing in different patrol strategies. So nighttime, a lot of the patrol strategy was to combat driving while intoxicated and traffic-related crimes, which are important, but the majority of these burglaries are happening at night. We know how the suspects are getting around, and a lot of them are using bicycles. Bicycle enforcement became a new strategy. Well, no, we're not on bikes yet, but that's been talked about. We'll see where that goes. Okay. But no, enforcement of traffic laws relating to bicycles gives us the ability to stop these folks, identify them, and get them on paper.
According to Chief Meister, the Safety Act has been extremely detrimental to spikes in the crime spikes in the community. He explains they are often not only familiar with the individuals they arrest, but they are repeat offenders.
We have a great state's attorney's office that is very aggressive in prosecution. I think our judges are invested in the community, so they know the importance of what type of sentence they hand down and how it could deter future crimes from happening. So we're lucky to have that in Lincoln. I'm going to do some statistical work and push some data out to the community about the actual rise in crime since that's taken effect. It's important for the community to know it's not the fault of the police, it's not the fault of the prosecutors or the court system. Judges are now working with a new set of rules on who gets to stay in jail and who gets set free. They don't have any leeway. We've arrested the same guy for 6 different burglaries in the last 2 months. I mean, that's just one example. And it's frustrating to the community. This suspect had broken into a contractor on several different occasions, was arrested for those burglaries, released because he had to be due to the procedural stuff we have going on in the court system now, and then comes out and burglarizes the same guy again. You can imagine how that guy feels. He's working hard to make a living for his family, and he's being victimized by the same person.
Chief Meister encourages neighbors to look out for neighbors in the community. He encourages getting to know the folks next door and across the street. Being familiar with your neighbors helps when you suspect something out of the ordinary. Additionally, Chief Meister says the residential burglaries are happening in neighborhoods across the community, and a lot of retail theft is happening on the west side of the city. The police department puts out information via its Facebook page. Piatt County authorities have been very busy lately. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Piatt County Sheriff Mark Vogelsang credited his lead investigator and chief deputy for their recent work on several crimes in the community.
Our investigator and our chief deputy have been very, very busy doing some great case work. We've experienced kind of a rash of burglaries where we have poker machines around the county, and it's not just limited to us. We've had several different counties. I think maybe 9 different counties have experienced this, but they did some great casework and got working with the different agencies involved. There's been some arrests made, so they've been doing a great job there. But we had an armed robbery in D-Land, probably about 2 weeks ago at the Casey's. But again, they've done phenomenal police work and already have arrest warrants for that person who's now in custody down in Kentucky on a crime spree down there. So they've been keeping very, very busy and doing a lot of good investigative work.
According to the sheriff, the poker machine crime is a widespread crime ring hitting communities across central Illinois. He worked with 9 different agencies to solve that crime.
Well, it's one of those that, they do get emptied quite often, but it's just a different type of burglary that people are going in after hours and breaking into those machines. I think there was 9 different counties that we were working with. A lot of it's the same group that's going around doing these. So just being able to communicate and coordinate with all these different agencies has been key. Not really. It's just a matter of breaking in. There for a while you'd see the ATMs that were being broken into, and it's just another type of machine that accumulates that cash that people will try to break into. I remember years ago there was the pop machines that people would try to break into, or the laundromats and the coin machines there. So just another mechanism for them to try and get that cash.
The Piatt County Sheriff's Office also assisted with a standoff in Mansfield where a resident barricaded himself inside his home after an armed robbery in Champaign County, and an arrest warrant was issued.
We did have a little standoff in Mansfield. That was a gentleman that was involved in an armed robbery that occurred in Champaign, and they had an arrest warrant for him. So they ended up bringing their SWAT team over. The gentleman ended up barricading himself in the house for several hours, and they ended up having to use gas to get him to come out and surrender. But everything in the end ended peacefully, and it worked out well. It was involving a case from Champaign. The residents of Mansfield were great. We actually had, I noticed one person that was walking around with some bags of goodies and some food and bottles of water for the officers that were out there. They were out there for 5 or 6 hours at least on that standoff. So very appreciative of the citizens up there in Mansfield understanding as we worked through that case with officers from Champaign.
Sheriff Vogelsang encourages business owners to make sure they have good security in place and notes those devices have become very affordable and are very useful when trying to solve crime. Additionally, he thanks all the agencies they worked with to solve those crimes. 20 minutes after 7 on this Thursday. Still to come on this Thursday in news, the McLean County Museum of History celebrates Dia de los Muertos tomorrow, and November will be a transition to a La Nina winter. Those stories still to come today in news. The Illinois Secretary of State, Alex Janulius' office, is transforming the Clinton DMV facility into a one-stop shop design offering reduced wait times and increased efficiency. The renovation also includes updated signage to create a more logical flow and help customers know where to go. Janulius announced Wednesday the Clinton DMV will temporarily close from November 4th through the 8th while renovations take place. During that time, a temporary pop-up location will serve customers at the Warner Library, located at 310 North Quincy Street. The pop-up facility will be open 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. after the office recently shifted hours of operation to better align with customer availability. As a part of the Secretary of State's ongoing modernization efforts, the new DMV experience saves customers considerable time and several steps by offering both vehicle and driver services at a single service counter. Janulia said in a statement the Clinton facility is next in line to receive renovations that will give it a modern feel while employing new technology to create better efficiency. Driver services and vehicle services employees at one-stop shop DMVs are now cross-trained to provide both sets of services. The office also redesigned customer service counters and signage to create a more logical flow. 21 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. A break here. More to come in local news on this Thursday.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers a full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton or Farmer City. This is what we strive to do each and every day. We'll listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that is knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
News time, 22 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. A local museum is celebrating a holiday all about honoring and remembering our ancestors. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Michaela Harris, Director of Communications for the McLean County Museum of History, told Regional Radio they celebrate Dia de los Muertos on Friday. This will be their biggest celebration yet.
We have our big Dia de Muertos celebration this Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. We're really excited about it. This is an event that we have done for the past 3 years, and this is set to be our biggest one yet. We have 10 community partners that are coming together to help us throw this big shindig. We'll have free food, live music, art making activities with Illinois Art Station, a fun community mural project with the Language Spot. We'll also be having free mini language lessons with the Language Spot, which is really exciting, as well as both the Bloomington and Normal public libraries will be there. We're going to be doing some bilingual story times that talk about the history and the cultural significance of Dia de Muertos. And then, of course, we have our ofrenda. It has been designed by 2 local members of the community. And then we have our community ofrenda where folks can bring in photos of their loved ones to add in, and that will be on display for the next 2 weeks or so. So we really hope folks come out. It's also First Friday in downtown Bloomington, so all of the businesses are open late. The art galleries all have fun stuff going on. So I think that downtown Bloomington will be hopping this Friday for sure.
Dia de los Muertos is a Hispanic holiday devoted to honoring ancestors and loved ones who have passed. According to Harris, it's celebrated by creating ofrendas, or offerings, with photos to keep their memories alive.
So Dia de Muertos is a traditionally Mexican, but other parts of South America celebrate it as well. And then obviously it's become quite large in the United States also. It has kind of pre-colonial roots, but kind of took shape morphing with All Saints Day. All Saints Day after kind of the Catholic Church came into that region. So it's a holiday that has really kind of morphed over time, but at the core of it, it honors our ancestors and our loved ones who have passed. So the whole idea is that you create these ofrendas with photos of your loved ones, and then ofrendas most often include the 4 elements of earth. So earth, wind, fire, and water. And that is to help kind of bring your loved ones home to keep their memory alive. A lot of folks might have seen the Disney Pixar movie Coco. That is a great kind of introduction to the holiday if you're not at all familiar. Obviously to our event, I think is a good introduction. It's really special. It's something that I started celebrating personally. My grandfather was Mexican, and it's a great way to kind of keep your loved ones alive in many ways and honor them.
Harris also notes there's an assortment of community groups coming in to help with this event, from Hispanic student communities to arts groups.
It's been a really great honor to kind of bring all of these people together. Illinois Art Station is a tried and true partner for us. We do stuff with them all of the time. Also, Latinos in Blono is a blog that a local woman runs. Her husband, their family came here for a job at Rivian. And she has kind of used, she's a journalist back in Mexico, but due to the restrictions on their immigration visas, her husband is allowed to work and she is not. So she kind of channels that energy into really creating a community for other, Spanish speaking immigrants to the area to kind of find community, to help each other adjust and learn, and make a new home here. So that's been really great to work with her. She's a force of nature. I'm always inspired by her. And then we also have a lot of student groups, which have been really fun to work with. So we have the Latino Student Alliance from both Wesleyan and ISU coming. We also have Alice from Heartland Community College coming. So we have representation from all three of the local kind of higher ed places in Bloomington, Normal. And then also we have Bloomington Junior High School multilingual group that is going to be participating with us. So bringing in these community partners is a great way to not only help kind of grow the event, but to expand what we can do.
And again, the event is this Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. at the McLean County Museum of History and the surrounding area. Get more information at mchistory.org/events. We turn over a new calendar month, and above normal conditions will continue until early November. John Bumgardner at the National Weather Service in Lincoln indicates the first few days of November will be above normal for temperatures. However, after that, it becomes a little less predictable.
Good question. Well, right now, our friends at the Climate Prediction Center, like us, are expecting above normal temperatures, 80% chance of above normal. Highs next week, average upper 50s to low 60s. So we'll definitely blow past that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and possibly Thursday as well. Maybe Friday and Saturday if we get that second warm up. And then going out a little further, the data becomes a little more, there's just more spread in the models because they're not, those systems that are responsible for weather out into the following week, they haven't even reached the Gulf of Alaska yet. So it gets a little harder. It looks like we're trending towards a little bit cooler than normal by that following weekend. But I guess it would be November 9th and 10th, Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. Most of the guidance of our 100 ensemble members in the extended start trending towards at least near normal, possibly below.
According to Bumgardner, we'll transition to a La Nina weather pattern starting in November. He explains that means we could be on the wet side of the forecast for the month ahead.
November, we're starting to get into that time of year where we don't get quite as much rain because over the summer our averages are skewed a lot by these thunderstorms, which can dump a lot of rain in a short period of time. November, it's more like 3 to 4 inches is typical for us. Right now, the 1 month outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, which kind of makes sense given the pattern with the jet stream shifting north, not quite into La Nina yet. They're expecting equal chances of below and above normal precipitation. So it could go either way. The southern part of the state, however, they're saying drier conditions are a little more favored. So that almost reaches us, but it's more down by I-70. Temperature-wise, it looks like maybe leaning above normal.
According to Bumgardner, a La Nina weather pattern tends to mean a cold, wet winter on the way. That can often lead to more snow events than usual if a snowy winter is in your wheelhouse. 29 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. Coverage of news today is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. A look at sports comes your way next on the morning show.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump is standing up for his supporters, and he says for all Americans, after President Biden referred to Trump backers as garbage. He's condemning President Biden as well as Kamala Harris, the White House insisting the president's remark was taken out of context. North Korea has launched a missile designed to strike the U.S. and South Korea. That's according to South Korea and Japanese intelligence. The Dodgers bring home the World Series title. They beat the Yankees 7-6. Last night's Game 5. There has been partying as well as vandalism and some looting in Los Angeles. And police are hunting for an arsonist after fires at ballot drop boxes in the Pacific Northwest. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in the red. The Dow futures down 188. NASDAQ futures off 146 points. More details at srnnews.com.
4653.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jeremy House. Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers won their second World Series championship in 5 seasons, overcoming a 5-run deficit with the help of 3 Yankees defensive miscues and relying on sacrifice flies from Gavin Lux and Mookie Betts in the 8th inning to beat New York 7-6 in Game 5. Aaron Judge and Jazz Chisholm Jr. hit back-to-back home runs in the first inning for the Yankees. Alex Verdugo's RBI single chased Jack Flaherty in the second, and Giancarlo Stanton's third-inning home run against Ryan Brazier built a 5-0 lead for New York, with the Dodgers rallied to close out the series 4-1. Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman, who hit 4 home runs during the series, won the MVP award. NFL news, Jaden Daniels was a limited participant in the Washington Commanders practice Wednesday while dealing with a rib injury. This is SRN Sports. In the NBA, it took overtime, but the Indiana Pacers handed the Boston Celtics their first loss of the season.
In a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals teams, Indiana led by 21 early in the final period. But the Celtics forced overtime, only to see the Pacers' Pascal Siakam win it on a 3-pointer. Siakam had 29 points as Indiana pulls it out 135-132 and snaps a 3-game losing streak.
That's correspondent Tom McCabe reporting. Other winners included Cleveland, Detroit, Charlotte, Washington, New York, Chicago, Brooklyn, Oklahoma City, Golden State, and Portland. In the NHL, winners were Columbus, Winnipeg, Tampa Bay, Utah, Los Angeles, and New Jersey. Off the ice, Connor McDavid is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle injury. The Edmonton Oilers announced the injury timeline on Wednesday. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. The LeRoy Panthers are combining momentum of this season and lessons learned from last year to hopefully make a deep run in the Class 1A playoffs this November. Coach B.J. Zalesnik indicates his undefeated Heart of Central Illinois small division champs had a very veteran team that he knew had a chance to be pretty good. They are enjoying the fun they're having as a team and community.
Well, we thought that we had an opportunity to be pretty good. We had 18 seniors back this year and 16 starters back, and they had a wonderful off season. So when you put in that much work and you've got that much experience, you're going to be in ball games, and we were pretty formidable. So it's been a long time since we've scored over 400 points in the regular season, and I think we gave up 62. So it's been fun, but now matchups are everything, and it's going to depend upon what path we get in the playoffs. Offensively, we're a run-based system. We're a flex-bone option offense, so our quarterback position is really important. Our quarterback, Bo Zalesnik, I think was just shy. I think he finished 4 yards shy of 1,000 for the regular season, running the ball. So he was good. Stephon Williams is a junior fullback for us. He's around the 600-yard mark, and then we've got 4 other guys that rotate at wing and fullback that were all in the 300-yard range. So we have a lot of depth. Our offensive line is good. We've got several 3-year starters up front. So we had all the pieces to be solid offensively. And then defensively, we pursue the ball well. Brock Owens is a returning starter at the inside linebacker position. He leads us in tackles. Tate Sigler, the big presence at the D-tackle position for us. He's another senior. Braden Fox has had a good year in the secondary for us. He leads us in interceptions. So, yeah, and all these guys are seniors. It's been a fun year. It's a year that you don't have come along very often at a small 1A school like ours, and we're just enjoying every minute of it.
The Panthers have taken care of the football very well this season, and as LeRoy seeks to make a deep run in the 1A playoffs, Coach Zalesnik says that's something they're going to have to continue to do to have success.
I think we've got, 4 turnovers on the season total. We don't turn the ball over. And for us, as a ground-oriented offense, that's huge because we can't lose possessions, and we got to limit penalties. And our penalties have not been bad this year as well. So we don't make many mistakes. And when you're running the football and you're playing these spread teams that you're trying to keep the ball away from, you got to play mistake-free football. We've done a great job of doing that, and we're going to have to continue that moving forward. We're going to have to drive the ball. We're going to have to chew clock. We're going to see, I think, the path that we're going to take north in 1A, we're going to see some formidable opponents early and often. So we are going to have to be able to take care of the ball, drive the football, chew clock, keep it out of their hands. Then defensively, we got to try to find ways to get stops and get off the field on third down. If we can get a turnover, that'd be great. You know, we've seen some highlights of some of the teams that are out there that are potential opponents for us, and they look good. So it's going to be interesting.
Last season's second-round loss at Belleville Althoff Catholic was a good learning experience for the Panthers that fueled them through the offseason. Coach Zalesnik says his team is using that experience and its momentum of this season to fuel them this postseason.
Yeah, we were fortunate to get to go to Althoff second round, and that ended our season. So yeah, went 9-2, but you know that game was a great experience for a group that had a lot of guys coming back because they know that they've seen the best athletes that this state has to offer. You know, they've been on the field with 3 kids that have gotten Power 4 offers, and 4 kids that got Power 4 offers. You know, so you know they have a little bit of confidence that we're going to be able to step on the field and we're going to be able to compete against whatever talent the other team has. And so sometimes, going to play that kind of game, but also doing some good things in that kind of game against that kind of opponent helps build for the next season. And very excited, and they deserve it. You know, they've done everything we've asked of them. They've gone above and beyond, and they look after each other. They take care of one another. They lift each other up. They've been the ultimate team to this point. So I'm very happy for them and excited for them to have an opportunity to make a run at it.
LeRoy will host Aurora Christian Friday night at 7. You wouldn't know the Tri-Valley Vikings are still a pretty young team, but the champions of the Heart of Central Illinois Conference Large Division Vikings are hoping that mature youth will carry them to another deep run this November. Despite a junior-heavy roster, Tri-Valley football coach Josh Roop says his 5 seniors are big contributors to their success this 8-1 regular season.
Well, you know, it's a team. We've got 5 seniors. All 5 contribute, but we're pretty much still a junior-dominated team, junior and sophomore. So we're still relatively young other than our 5 seniors. And then, you know, last year we were starting 5 sophomores and a freshman. And, you know, our offensive line only has 1 senior on it. And on both sides of the ball, our lines have just been getting better every week. And then, you know, we've got a returning All-Stater in Cole Klein at quarterback and then slash running back, and then some good receivers on the outside with Tommy Harris and Kate Danko, and then Lucas Filarski, who's also a senior.
The Vikings got dominated by his good friend, Coach of Coach Roop's, B.J. Zalesnik and the LeRoy Panthers in Week 2. Coach Roop says his team was humbled and had to respond and feels they have, rolling 7 straight wins to wrap up the regular season.
You know, we went over there and they were a veteran team. I think he's got like 20 seniors over there this year. And his son's at quarterback does a wonderful job for him. And, of course, they're well coached. And we weren't gelling, and we didn't play particularly well that night, and they smacked us in the face. And we've had to respond, and it was a wake-up call for us. We've been running the ball very well. We've been putting a lot of points on the board. The last week was a huge game for us up at Eureka, and going up there and them being undefeated, and that atmosphere was really a playoff atmosphere. And I thought on both sides, all 3 phases of the game, I felt like we performed very, very well, and I'm hoping that we can build off that into the playoffs. I mean, we had We had a special teams touchdown. Our defense, I felt like, played its best game of the year. We hit, we were physical. And then, of course, we ran the ball very efficiently. Cole Klein had over 200 yards in that game. So, it was a big game for us, and our kids responded well.
Tri-Valley will host Bloomington Central Catholic Friday night at 7 in the first round of the Class 2A playoffs. Monticello will take on Bloomington Central Catholic High School tonight in a Class 2A regional championship in Bloomington. Monticello overcame a pesky Clinton squad Monday to advance to Tuesday's regional semifinal against Tri-Valley. The Lady Sages started slow and dropped the first 2 sets, but rallied and won the next 2 to advance to tonight's regional championship. BCC toppled Prairie Central in 2 sets Tuesday to advance. First serve is 6 p.m. tonight. Hear the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Storms likely today, otherwise sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Highs level off around 66. Southwesterly winds